Yosemite National Park. What is America? America is outstandingly Yosemite. Of America's more than 100 parks, Yosemite is emblematic of all the others. The perfect park. An Eden-like masterpiece of valley and mountain that attracts visitors from over the whole world. The radiance in some places is so great as to be fairly dazzling. Every crystal, every flower, a window opening into heaven, a mirror reflecting the Creator. John Muir. Yosemite National Park is located in east-central California in the Sierra Nevada mountain range. It enjoys over 4 million visitors annually on its 750,000 acres. This masterpiece of creation has been eons in the making. Millions of years ago, on the western margin of what we know as North America, a massive granite monolith thrust up from the Earth's crust. A rising mass of solid rock 400 miles long. We know it as the Sierra Nevada, and it's still growing. Waters gather, and in an outpour of increasing power, cut canyons through the rock. Canyons as deep as 3,000 feet. The climate turns cold, frigid. Snows of thousands of winters lash the summits. Snows that never melt. Snows that become ice, and ice that becomes glaciers. Vast glaciers, which break from their mooring, grinding down, down, down upon the granite. Rivers freeze. Great trees die where they stand. Flowers perish, not to bloom again for nearly 1 million years. While through eons, 100 million tons of restless glaciers advance over this immense mass of sawtooth granite. Moving like colossal chisels, splitting, scouring, polishing the dense rock. Moving like the fingers of a sculptor and carving out what well may be the most beautiful valley in the world. The long, long winter has spanned thousands of years. After so long, spring makes a comeback. Now with a warm sun thawing the ice-bound earth. Through glacial meltwater and ghostly mists, an epiphany of landmark wonders. Yosemite Valley. The incomparable El Capitan. Enigmatic Half Dome. Cathedral Rock soaring heavenward. Yosemite Falls, the highest falls in North America. A fantasy family of bluffs, the Three Brothers. And brooding Sentinel Rock. This valley, so heavenly high, so dauntingly deep, spawns wildlife in endless abundance. Wildlife which draws the first human hunters and their broods. In these last centuries, the valley is settled by a Miwok tribal people, who see the valley as Awani, the great gaping mouth, and refer to themselves as the Awanichi, the people of the valley. The staple food of these hunters and gatherers is the protein-rich acorn of the native black oak. Acorns are stored in granaries, dried, shelled, and pounded into flour. Tribal ceremonies, dancing and prayers, are held in the roundhouse, while the smaller sweat house is used for purification before hunting. Unreached by the Spanish missionaries, the Awanichi live from generation to generation to the seasonal rhythms of the valley. Then, gold. Gold is discovered in the Sierra Nevada, in a foothill stream north of the valley. Thousands of gold seekers venture into the foothills with picks and pans, and the hopes preposterous. With their survival threatened, the native Indians fight back. 2 years after gold had been discovered in California, Major John Savage finds himself nervously leading a battalion through an uncharted wilderness, never before penetrated by white men. His orders are to corral the Indians native to the place and forcibly herd them onto a reservation. After days of cautious travel, they stumble onto a valley, the likes of which they had never seen. Unexpectedly, the curtain opens on the secret valley of the Awanichi. The men are awestruck. One of their number knows the Awanichi by name, Yosemite. He suggests they call the site the Yosemite Valley. The name takes hold. Blinded to the valley's grandeur by the lure of gold, newcomers blight the wilderness with squatters' crops and the gimcrack of mining. Then, in 1855, a magazine publisher named James Hutchins leads a party of sightseers into the valley. In the party is one Thomas Ayers, who makes the first sketches known of the beautiful valley. Published, his sketches attract more sightseers. Among them is Frederick Olmsted, who had co-designed New York's Central Park. Olmsted is so moved by what he sees that he lobbies with higher-ups to make a park of the Yosemite Valley. After sulking in the Stone Age for thousands of years, Yosemite is suddenly being celebrated by industrial America. Interlopers in bustles and bowler hats. For decades, East Coast newlyweds had flocked to Niagara Falls for their honeymoons. Now, they learned that it is Yosemite Falls that are the highest in the U.S. and the second highest in the world. and that Yosemite has more than half of America's highest waterfalls. Native Americans called this fall, with water cascading from a height of 620 feet, Pohono, meaning puffing wind. Visitors from back east renamed them Bridal Veil. Visitors marvel at Yosemite's stand of sequoias and Mariposa Grove. Some of the trees have grown 300 feet high. In the middle of the 19th century, Galen Clark, a surveyor, made a discovery of this grove of big trees. After building a cabin, he settled down in the Yosemite wilderness, becoming its self-appointed guardian. Fittingly, he's buried in a grave he dug in a grove of sequoias he planted in Yosemite Valley. This tree in Mariposa Grove is respectfully referred to as the grizzly giant. This enormous tree has a volume of more than 30,000 cubic feet. The trees can live to be 3,000 years old. They are the most massive form of life growing on this planet. They are bigger than anything that ever lived on Earth. Snobbish Easterners are increasingly respectful of the natural wonders of the West. The Civil War still rages. Perhaps beleaguered President Abraham Lincoln finds respite in the Yosemite paintings of Alfred Bierstadt. In any case, on June 30th of 1864, President Lincoln signs into law a bill declaring Yosemite Valley and the Mariposa Grove of giant sequoias a scenic preserve, held for public use, rest, and recreation. But it is not yet a national park. National parks are still in the future. The land is held in trust for the American people by the state of California. Despite the new legal sanctions, speculators still trespass into Yosemite territory. Homesteaders in their unsightly shacks still cling to the land. Herders drive sheep into Yosemite's high meadows for grazing. Mines are still being constructed, shafts dug, and machinery hauled in. Illegally, loggers are denuding ancient forests of their great trees. Hunters skirt the laws protecting wildlife. A voice is needed. And a voice is heard. In God's wilderness lies the hope of the world, the great, fresh, unblighted, unredeemed wilderness. The hectoring voice of John Muir, part naturalist, part Old Testament prophet, who becomes the fearless champion of our national parks as sanctuaries. Everyone needs beauty as well as bread, he reminds us. Places to play in and pray in. John Muir, born in 1838, is a restless spirit, a Scotsman who emigrates from the land of crofts and kilts to the rustic reaches of Wisconsin. Now, he migrates to the far west, to California, where he seeks out Yosemite, which he knows of from his reading. A tireless hiker, he explores Yosemite on foot, from the chaparral to the alpine heights. He sleeps under the stars, every form of life catches his interest. He is drawn to the upper reaches of the valley. His life is a testament to our oneness with the earth. Eastward, across the continent, others share his cosmic vision. New Englanders, Henry David Thoreau, who turns his back on society and dwells in solitary contemplation at Walden Pond. And philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson, who extols nature as universal beauty, to which every part and particle is eternally related. They are mentors to the thoughts and feelings of John Muir, who proclaims, "We all flow from one fountain, all are expressions of one love." At last, in 1890, by an act of Congress, Yosemite becomes America's third national park. But it does not include the valley itself, or Mariposa Grove. John Muir frets over the fact that Mariposa Grove, with its stand of giant sequoias, trees almost 2,000 years old, are not part of the park. Hence, they are unprotected, wide open to destruction by the logging industry. Then, in 1903, it is announced that U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt is coming to visit Yosemite for a sumptuous reception. But Teddy Roosevelt, a rugged outdoorsman, has other ideas. Ditching security, he spends his time in Yosemite with John Muir, one-to-one at Mariposa Grove, and later in a meadow near Yosemite Valley's Bridal Veil Fall. The President of the United States and John Muir camp together. The President relishes simpler fare than that which had been planned for him. After the two men have talked themselves out, they go to sleep under the stars. Old John of the Mountains proves to be something of a practical politician and lobbyist. At last, with the president's backing, Yosemite, including Mariposa Grove, becomes a full-fledged member of the growing family of national parks. Muir discovered Yosemite for himself and made it his true home. He won followers from future generations. Today, the whole world honors John Muir. Discovery. The discovery of this magical valley. First by the Awanichi, then by the Mariposa Brigade of Soldiers, and by John Muir and President Theodore Roosevelt. And now, you. Yosemite casts its spell upon multitudes of visitors, eager to immerse themselves in the myth and mystery of Mother Nature, the spirit within the valley, scenic wonders, in all seasons. To share this timeless beauty and find that spark within themselves. Couples come to pledge their troth in this legendary setting, to marry in Yosemite Chapel, the oldest building in the park. And perhaps hold the reception at the park's venerable Awanichi Hotel, opened in 1927. It's been named a National Historic Monument. It's one of the earliest buildings to weave Native American motifs into its overall design. Many come for sport. And there are those, in the Rough Rider spirit of a Teddy Roosevelt, come to climb one of the two monoliths which are emblematic of Yosemite National Park, El Capitan and Half Dome. The climb up Half Dome's cable route is steep, but no ropes are needed. With care, most hikers can scale the dome in 5 to 6 hours. The view is your reward. Getting to the top of El Capitan is a real vertical challenge. For serious rock climbers, Yosemite is unsurpassed. It challenges climbers of different skill levels. At more than 3,000 feet, El Capitan is the largest granite monolith in the world. Some ascents can take days, so climbers can be seen hauling up their food and gear after them. With the challenge comes the prize. Winter sports thrive. Downhill skiing, snowshoeing on a ranger-led trail, ice skating in an awe-inspiring setting, trout fishing in crystalline mountain streams, hikers come to Yosemite to get a feel of the park through its trails. A great hike is the Mist Trail. Through some steep switchbacks. This half-day hike's destination makes it worth the effort. Vernal Fall. John Muir was drawn to the upper reaches of Yosemite, the high Sierras. This tree testifies to life's harshness in the high country. Glacier trails here are strewn with telltale boulders and with rocks polished by ice to a sheen like patent leather. In the high country, the lakes are deep and cold, and snow can fall up to 5 feet in a single day. Here, planet Earth is still shaping itself. Place names have their roots in the Miwok language. Tuolumne River, Tuolumne Meadows, Hetch Hetchy Valley, and a canyon named after old chief Tenaya. Soaring 800 feet above Tuolumne Meadows, Lambert Dome, named for a homesteader in the area, the popular hike scrambles over the glacier-smoothed granite, culminating in a skyline of Sierra majesty. Deep in this wilderness, Muir encountered his first glacier. Here in the cold, thin air of the high country, Muir found total fulfillment in nature. Not the nature of the conquering pioneer, but the nature of the American visionary. Lastly, there are those who come to Yosemite in the spirit of Thoreau, of Ralph Waldo Emerson, and of John Muir, who invites us to walk quietly in any direction and taste the freedom. Camp out among the grasses. Climb the mountains and get their good tidings. Nature's peace will flow into you as sunshine flows into trees. The winds will blow their own freshness into you. And the storms, their energy. Yosemite is permeated with such spirit, such vision. It touches all who seek it for themselves.